Fox Soul challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Turkey Hut, Lindell Price, has pleaded not guilty in federal court as he appears here at this hour. He was indicted in connection to a 2020 explosion of a popular bar. Our Denise Middleton has the latest details in this.
Lindell Price could face up to 20 years in prison for his alleged involvement at the bar fire at 5015 in Houston's 3rd Ward. He allegedly paid John Price and Armani Williams, who were also arrested, to set the bar on fire. They were seen on camera pouring gasoline on the entrance ramp before igniting the fire. Charges allege that the owner of Bar 5015 was another co-owner of the now closed Turkey Leg Hut and Lindell's business partner. All three face up to 20 years in prison and a possible $250,000 fine. Lynn and John are also accused of setting a car on fire months prior to the bar explosion, which could add another 5 years to their sentence.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, that was a news report out of Houston, Texas, talking about one of the most famous black-owned restaurants in Houston's history, the famous Turkey Leg Hut, and its co-founder, Lindell Price. I know him as Brother Lynn, for the sake of transparency. I know the brother very well. And I've always known Lynn, who's currently facing these federal charges of arson, conspiracy to commit arson, and they're potentially looking at other charges based on my sources who were sitting in the courtroom during the bond hearing. I've always known brother to be a very smart brother and a good brother and a very hard-working brother. When he came home from federal lockup, because he had already been locked up before, when he came home, God blessed him with a beautiful, beautiful queen, Nakia, and she helped him move forward in life in ways that most men who will come home from penal institutions would never get that opportunity. She's truly a faithful, good woman to brother. I don't know what happened between the two, and I don't like getting in those things, but there's been a bit of breakup, allegations being swirled back and forth between the two of them about who's to blame for the failure of the Turkey Leg Hut. But I really hate this because God blessed that man with every opportunity, in all honesty, to be greatly successful. But he had to stay focused and stay the course and remember what God brought him from to where he was. I don't know what happened. I pray he's not guilty of these charges. But what I do know, this has hurt Houston's black community on a whole nother level, because many young people watch the success that Turkey Leg Hut had. That level of success that Turkey Leg Hut had reached a zenith to where most of the mainstream established restaurants in Houston were suffering from the black market because they were now going to the Turkey Leg Hut.
You know, yes, the Turkey Leg Hut, I used to live a few blocks away from it, but far enough away where it wasn't a problem, right? There are people that were complaining about the noise and stuff. I enjoyed going there. It was always a scene. It was always a great crowd. But what Lindell Price is making clear is that sometimes you can't set aside the criminal nonsense. If you look at Nakia's, the allegations she's made, I don't think there's any question who was the problem. I don't think it was her at all, right? And it seems like, I mean, how dumb you gotta be when you're gonna burn a place down, you leave the cameras running and you're pouring gasoline everywhere. The federal government does not act. It ain't local PD. It ain't even state police. The federal government is going to take its time, cross its T's, dot its I's, and it is a shame that someone that you talk about blessed, absolutely. They were making money hand over fist, and this man couldn't keep his he was so ethically challenged that he couldn't keep it together, and now he's lost everything.
But you're assuming he's guilty.
Oh, no, I'm not assuming that. There's a mountain of evidence.
Charles, let me say this. Based on what I know about this case, Charles, it's based off an informant snitch testimony.
Okay.
Lynn was not there when the place was set on fire. He got proof where he was not there. So based on what came out in court during the bond hearing, this is about an internal snitch in the group, maybe two. Okay. And Mr. Price, John Price, I believe, is one who they pointed out, no relationship to Lynn, who was actually working and cooperating with law enforcement in this particular case. And that's how they brought Lynn into it. And the co-defendant, Mr. Price, allegedly got caught in Mississippi with a huge amount of fentanyl that led him to flip and then give additional testimony about other crimes, which brought Lynn Price into it. So we got to be careful here. You and I both know when people get caught up in crimes, they tell all kind of lies to the feds to try to get favor with the feds and the United States government for a lesser sentence. They even lie on people when they start snitching. So until we've heard all of the evidence, I'm going to reserve judgment about brother's guilt, and let's see what happens when it all plays out. Because the case is based off a snitch.
Yeah, you know, I couldn't disagree more. You have a guy, lifetime criminal, who had, I mean, yes, before Trillburger, which is obviously now the best black-owned business restaurant that's ever walked the earth. You know, Trillburger, great. But they were making money hand over fist. And his failure to behave ethically with employees, with distributors, with subcontractors, it drove that out of business. Because it wasn't the people. Right, people loved it. Right, it wasn't
and they didn't lose customers.
It wasn't
they were
the city.
overflowing with customers.
In the city, there were neighbors making complaints in the city. Sylvester Turner's administration was clearly on the Price's side, and what he did was he burnt down his marriage. He burnt down his business, literally or figuratively. Then he
Allegedly.
and then he literally went and burnt down the other business across the street. This is a criminal. He's going to get a lot of prison time, and if he could have just kept it between the lines and run his business,
at the end of the day, remember,
he'd still be making money.
The allegations against him are directly coming from the mouth of a paid snitch, a paid informant. And remember, informants will lie through hell and back to get themselves out of trouble when they've been caught up with the United States government. That's a proven fact. We've seen many cases across the country where the feds bring charges against people solely based off the words of a confidential informant, a CI, who's nothing more than a lying snitch. I'm going to reserve judgment here. Because now, if he was on video,
burning it down.
But he's not on video.
Okay.
He's on video.
Okay.
His cell phone was not traced to the spot or to the area when the fire took place. This is solely based off the words of a snitch. And Charles, you're a former criminal defense attorney. You know how snitches will lie to get out of trouble on anybody.
Well, and there are some snitches, but we're talking about the federal government. Now, you're talking about HPD narcotics, Houston Police Narcotics, or some, organized crime task force with the county. Yeah, maybe they go too far with the snitches. Federal government ain't doing that. The federal government will start an investigation off a snitch. It took years for them to file these charges. Years. Why? Because they were buttoning down their case.
Charles,
and he's absolutely going to get found guilty because he's a criminal.
Charles, most conspiracy cases are never based on actual evidence. Most conspiracy cases are based on snitch informant testimony. Look at the John Gotti case. Look at the Murder Inc.
Well, you don't think they were criminals?
Look at the Murder Inc. case.
Because they were awful murdering criminals.
Look at how many of these rap moguls were put on trial.
Wait a minute. Criminals.
Look at Young Thug. Young Thug's case was based on snitch testimony, and even the judge
was a thug.
And even the judge admitted that that state's case and the government's case against Young Thug reeked of corruption and reeked of lying informants. So let's not pretend like this is not normal.
Hold on. First of all, Young Thug, absolute thug, involved in a criminal enterprise, but he was being prosecuted in the state.
But he pled to very lesser charges, Charles,
because
the judge exposed the corruption in the case.
You were saying, hey, look at all these criminals, and that's why this criminal ain't a criminal.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that be very careful taking the testimony of paid informants and snitches as the Holy Grail, because they lie to get a better deal for themselves.
What I am saying is that we need to have a reckoning where we stop celebrating gangsterism. And when we have a successful business,
we just celebrated America's top gangster.
We need to hold it up.
We just held up America's top gangster. Donald Trump has 34 felony convictions. He's America's top gangster.
Can we stay on your friend Lynn White and not transition this to the
Well,
White
wait a minute. If we can accept Donald Trump being a reformed felon.
James Gambino. I didn't bring up Young Thug. I didn't bring up Murder Inc. You did.
John Gambino was a businessman. And the Gambino family, they had a few thugs in the family, but everybody wasn't criminals. Everybody wasn't criminals.
They were murdering people. And that's what we got to stop.
John Gotti supported many charities.
We need to start holding up Americans that run successful businesses, that contribute to their community, that have families and are the building block of this society, instead of celebrating and supporting and defending
Now wait a minute.
gangsters like Lindell Price.
We celebrate politicians every day in America. And are they not some of the most corrupt criminals in America's history? These politicians are more corrupt than the thug on the corner robbing the corner store. Because when you look at the robberies that politicians are involved with, robbing the American people, them the real criminals, not that little petty car thief.
I know he's your friend. Lynn Price, he go to prison?
He's been there before, yes.
All right. He have a beautiful marriage. You talked about it to Nikia that he
very,
burnt to the ground.
very faithful woman.
He had a great business that is shuttered and locked down.
But Charles, just because you and your wife have a falling out,
no,
that don't mean you're a criminal.
Are you gonna act like it was just a falling out?
Charles, they had a lot of issues, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: we have to be very careful about doing.
He's a horrible person.
Charles, listen
Why
to
are we defending him?
We got to be very careful about getting in people's marriages because we don't know her whole side and we don't know his whole side of what took place.
You know, he can tell
but trust
his
me,
side
there's three sides to every story. Her side, he isn't the truth. So Charles, let's be very careful about interjecting ourselves in people's marriages because we never know the truth.
Where we're at with the topic at hand. This guy's a gangster. He's a criminal. He's going to get years.
Now you done made him a gangster.
He is a gangster. He's been a gangster for years.
You done made him a gangster.
I didn't make him a gangster. His actions make him a gangster.
Charles,
you only defended him.
He was not there. He was not there when the fire was started.
I paid for my turkey legs. Squanell must have got some free. You got some free funnel cakes.
At the end of the day,
some free funnel cakes.
No, I never been to the turkey leg up one time.
That's crazy.
I never went one time.
Because them turkey legs with the rice.
They had one of the best products that black business had ever seen in the city.
Never been there.
One of the best products.
You ain't never been there.
Because our people supported it overwhelmingly like no other black restaurant.
Hey, you know who else supported it? Houston supported it. It wasn't just out black people.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
I was up there eating my fried fish,
that's why I hate to see the fall of the turkey leg hut.
It fell because he's a gangster, period.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
All right, Quanell, that was a clip of a confrontation between Tyrese Halliburton's dad and Giannis, the star of the Bucks, after an incredible comeback victory for the Pacers. Obviously, both were feeling a lot of emotions. I feel like John Halliburton was completely out of line. I think it was absurd. We have Giannis's reaction and statement after the fact that I think is important for the listeners. Can we play that, Matt, please?
With people after the game, it looked like you were kind of standing there by the three-point line, then all of a sudden you're in the middle of kind of everything. Just what happened kind of out on the floor after the game?
Nothing. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I won't talk a lot. We lost the game. It doesn't really matter. One thing I'll say is that I believe like being humble in victory. That's how I am. Now there can be a lot of people out there that are like, no, when you win the game, you gotta talk and you know it's a green light for you to be disrespectful towards somebody else. I disagree. I've won the championship. They haven't. Okay, and that doesn't say anything. I'm not trying to minimize their effort, but I remember when I won, my mom that she's never missed the games from February 11th or 13th when she came in Milwaukee against the Knicks. She never missed a game. When we won the championship, I remember my mom, she was scared to cross. She was like, am I allowed to come and hug my son?
You know, Giannis, I think, Quanell, you could disagree, but I think he is the most impressive character in today's NBA. I think he led a team, the Bucks, to a championship with very little support, even less support than Jordan had, I think, in his first championship. But if you read stories about Giannis and how he lives his life, clearly he was raised right by parents that loved him very dearly and raised a young man to become a grown man who is incredibly humble. And when you see John Halliburton go and get in his face, and he had the audacity to lie and say, oh, I wouldn't get in his face. I think it's sickening. But we've also got Tyrese's response that he did not support his dad. Matt, can we play that too?
Sort of everything happened after that ball goes, and obviously got jumped up on the scorer's table and everything like that. Obviously had a moment with Giannis. Obviously had something happen between Giannis and your dad. What all did you see transpire? What all kind of went down there, and basically what happened?
Yeah, I mean, after we won, I kind of blacked out a little bit. I don't really remember a ton. Then all the guys grabbed me in my head. As far as the incident between Giannis and my pops, I had no idea it happened until I got to the back and was showed the video. Me and my pops have talked about that, and I don't agree with what transpired there from him.
Well, and that's a son having to call out his dad, which is a little bit heartbreaking, but I respect Tyrese for doing it. But let's listen to what John Halliburton said. He just got on TV and lied. Why did he lie? Because he seems like an awful human being. But that's just me. Can we hear that, Matt?
It might have seemed like I was looking at him, but I really wasn't. I was looking through him. That's how I was in the moment. I know it looked like we were looking, like I was staring him down, but it wasn't like that. It was in the moment, as if I was looking right through him. And yes, I had the banner in my hand going, and I was yelling, yay, yay, yay. Giannis never said anything to me. I never said anything to Giannis.
Yeah, that's just a liar, Quanell. He got the banner. He got it in his face. It's on video. Everyone can see what he did. And he makes it seem like because Giannis acted like the incredible human being he is and didn't respond, right, that somehow that exonerates him. Sometimes a good apple falls from a bad tree. And that's what we had here, right? Tyrese, a great ball player, but Giannis is the best guy in the NBA right now.
Let me say this. Giannis might be the standard of what class is and how to carry yourself as a young brother in the NBA. I don't approve, and I reject, and I'm saddened by the conduct of Mr. Halliburton. But I believe the NBA should step forward and suspend John Halliburton from attending any games for at least 2 years, because you have to send a message that family members and friends are not allowed to ever ever come on the court, especially come on the court and create a conflicting situation or a dangerous one with an opposing player's team. Put that to the side. I'm not going to sit there and call Mr. John Halliburton an awful human being.
He was trying to pick a fight after
First
a game
of all,
with the star of the team.
He made a mistake. He had bad judgment.
And then he lied
and
about
he talked, and I disagree with what he said. But to call that man an awful human being, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Because you've had many white people at those games do some very horrible things, like the malice in the palace. You've had them say horrible things about killing Russell Westbrook's wife and his children. You've had white people at these games say horrible things to James Harden and call the N-word to players in those arenas. But if a black father like Mr. Halliburton makes a mistake, all of a sudden now he's an awful human being. No. He made a bad judgment. It was a bad call. Correct yourself, brother. Apologize and don't ever do it again. But I'll be damned. I sit here on a show like this and say that that's an awful human being when that father probably worked his off to help his son get to the NBA. He worked his behind, maybe working 2 jobs to pay for training, pay for traveling, and pay for the expense it took to raise that great young man to a great basketball player. And so I'm not going to call him an awful human being for one mistake, because we don't know the sacrifices Mr. John Halliburton made to help build his son. So no, I'm going to be as forgiving to him as you all are to those white fans who do just as worse and even worse than that.
Well, I knew it'd get there. Well, here.
You want to call him an awful human being?
I never forgave those white fans. I think they're all awful human beings too. And I think they're awful human beings too. I think this is another example of we're talking about behavior, and because the focus of that bad behavior is a black man, you've got to say, hey, Whitey over here.
Because in the NBA, most of the bad behavior by fans is white people.
Okay.
Most of the bad behavior by fans.
You're just making that up?
No, the players are black predominantly, but the fans who create problems, who causing drama, throwing beer, throwing popcorn, throwing the N-word, cussing players out, them primarily are white fans.
Okay. I know that you just like to make stuff up, but that's what
you're doing. A bunch of black folks filling those arenas. Stop it, brother. With the price of those damn tickets, a bunch of black folks in the hood are not filling those arenas.
Let me tell you something. There was a black couple
those arenas
next to me
are
at the
priced
floor
to keep
of
black
the
folk
Rockets
out.
last night. And yeah, I wish they were more affordable because I was spending a fortune for my NBA tickets. But let me tell you something. It's a very diverse crowd here in Houston. I don't know how it is everywhere else, but I'll tell you what I'd bet is Tyrese's mom is a shining star that did a great job raising her kid. And I bet this is it. Because look, yeah, you're
not going to call that black father an awful human being because he made a mistake.
First of all, you're only defending him because he's black.
I disagree with that.
But look, if he'd have just been caught up in the moment, got up in his face.
I think he was.
Started crying. Okay, that'd have been fine. But then 2 days later, he want to go on camera and say, well, I know it looked like I was looking at him, but don't believe your lying eyes. I was looking for him.
Well, it looks like he was making eye-to-eye contact to me.
Yeah, and trying to
pick a fight. He was making eye-to-eye contact.
He was trying to pick a fight
but Charles,
with the nicest guy in the NBA.
John Halliburton would have been a damn fool to pick a fight with that man.
He is a damn fool.
He about 5'10", maybe.
He a damn fool.
A $105. With Giannis, he had no chance.
Giannis, you didn't deserve that. I wish you'd have beat the Pacers.
Brother, do better. John, do better, but you're not an awful human being.
Yeah, you couldn't do better, Giannis. You're a saint. Thank you, sir.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighbors,
the hell up. You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Well, on Fox Face Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighbors,
the hell up. You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love your mind.
It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Hey, wait, we're here. Come on. Come on. You're on his back.
Jeanette Halsworth says she recorded this video Monday around 8 p.m. after hearing a commotion near her home on Lawton and Fruitdale Avenues. The video shows at least 3 San Jose police officers holding down a homeless man they called Oscar.
His knee was pressed into his face, pushing his face into the dirt, is what I'm trying to say. And so I just ran straight up to them. I was like, guys, get off him. Like, the first thing it came to mind was seeing the video of George Floyd in 2020. And I was like, we don't.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
That was just a small clip of the litany of bystanders in San Jose, California, the Bay Area, whining and crying about the treatment of a suspect by 3 brutal San Jose officers. It also didn't show where it did absolutely have a video of an officer throwing haymakers at that suspect. The NAACP has filed a formal complaint. The mayor and the police department are looking into this, and my response is, just like yesterday when we were talking about we need to get all the facts, is before people like this non-binary appearing person, I don't want to assume their gender.
Non-binary.
I don't know if it was, I don't want to assume.
You mean the butch-looking white woman?
Okay, I don't want to assume anyone's gender.
The butch-looking
right?
white woman.
I want to be polite, but she was very angry at the police. She brought up the memory of George Floyd, and she was very mad. But here are some details, Quanell. There's a man, an unhoused man that is in this neighborhood that has been looking into a woman's window right up close. Apparently the day before, he was not merely playing Peeping Tom, he was doing so while he had his penis out and was massaging his own penis while staring at this woman, right? And of course, this time, the second time in as many days, is he was again in the woman's window, which is a horrifying violation of a person's sense of privacy and safety. Same man, same MO. Police are called. They actually come out, which is unusual in San Jose that you get a rapid response enough to catch a criminal. But they get out there, they catch him, and what does he do? He bites a police officer. And there's a huge difference. You know, obviously in the George Floyd video, prior to them pressing on him and asphyxiating and killing him, he was being somewhat obstinate. He slid across and fell at the car. He was really doing everything he could to convince them and to physically prevent them from putting them in jail without assaulting the officers, without physically resisting in a way that could harm any. So there's really no analog, right? There's nothing in between the murder of George Floyd and this well-deserved whooping that this guy took for being a pervert. And you can't beat someone for being a pervert. I'm not mad at someone for beating a pervert that is terrifying young women, but you can't do that. But when someone bites you, right, which it can convey all kinds of diseases, from HIV and hepatitis to a number of other diseases, you get to make sure that he doesn't get another chance to bite you. And if that means shoving his face in the ground, it's okay. When someone bites you, you get to use the force necessary to effect the arrest, and that includes punching somebody. And let me tell you something, if you're gonna shove someone's face in the ground and punch somebody, well, this, and it wasn't just her, there were a long list of I didn't see anyone trying to protect the woman who was being spied on and terrified, right? They weren't out there worried about her, but they're out there worried about the homeless, biting, jacking it pervert, which just shows you how screwed up they are in California.
Charles, first of all,
I know, team pervert. Go ahead.
There is some aspects of the video that is disturbing to me. And if police went too far in restraining and arresting him and violated his human, civil, and constitutional rights, then if he was handcuffed like it appeared to be, and they were still kneeing him and punching him, that's going too far. But I think it's important that we put the whole story in context. To all of those people who were angry with the police for arresting him using such physical brute force, we don't want to see the man violated and treated unfairly. But wait a minute. To all of them, to the woman, the white woman who was on the video, do you care
There are
about
upset people of color, too.
If you care that much about that homeless man and you're the neighbor, well, then tell him to come to your house and let him pull out his penis and choke his chicken in your window and stare at you. Since you're so liberal with your understanding and like he shouldn't be treated like that, well, then let the freak come look through your window and play with himself and then see how you feel. Look, man, that dude, that pervert, if he's really guilty of that, if he was really doing that, Charles, he's lucky to make it out alive. Because there's some men and some fathers and some sons and some brothers and some uncles and also neighbors, if you catch a man beating his meat and choking his chicken in your wife or your family members' windows, then you're going to kill him. He's lucky to make it out alive. I think that that's a little bit too much sympathy that we show to a pervert, a sexual predator who's staying in the windows of women, stroking his chicken and strangling his meat and having fun looking in somebody's window. Can you imagine the sheer terror that he puts into any woman who catches him doing that? Can you imagine this same dude may have been doing that to little girls' windows in the neighborhood? I don't see a whole lot of sympathy for this man at all. In fact, a good kicking is exactly what he needed, and taken straight to the jailhouse, because in jail, when they find out what he's been doing, he's gonna have some bigger problems.
Well, I mean, we live in this, especially in big cities in California, but big cities across this country, where you've seen this hard left turn where they think that if we are non-responsive to crime, it'll lower crime stats, thus create the appearance of safety without actually having to achieve safety. So you don't have officers that show up quickly a lot of times. And I'm not blaming the rank and file officers, although there are plenty of them who are embracing the excuse to be lazy, there are still a number of good cops, right? And it would have been very easy for a cop just to drive by and say he didn't see anything.
But there are far too many cops who are doing bad things.
No, there's not. There's far too many cops not doing enough work.
Cops
but
who
these
doing
cops
bad things.
Went out and found this guy, right? And honestly, I believe the only reason that NAACP is filing a formal complaint and upset is because of the color of the pervert's skin. I don't think the NAACP cared if it was a white pervert, right? I don't think anyone should. Look, if this guy was truly masturbating while on other people's property,
he deserves no sympathy.
I just
he
don't
deserves
care,
no sympathy,
right? And if he goes even further, and when they try to arrest him, he fights, runs, and bites an officer. Man, come on.
But let me say this to you, Charles.
Because I know you'd have beat him to the hospital.
Oh, hell yeah,
and drug him inside.
Hell yeah, I would have. But let me say this to you, if not worse. But Charles, too many cops, and I've seen this quite a bit in cases that come to my desk. Cops will beat the hell out of a suspect, know what they did was wrong, and then what they'll do, they'll lie and say, well, he kept resisting when the suspect was not resisting. They'll take tasers and taser the suspects and put your hands behind your back, and when you're being tasered like that, you can't put your hands behind your back, and they pretend like that's resisting. And then what the cop will do is turn around and say, well, the perp assaulted me, and so I'd use that force which was necessary because I also was a victim of an assault. Well, then later to learn when the video comes out, the suspect never assaulted the cop. So Charles, there are some cops who are out there, far too many in my opinion, in these police departments that try to cover up physical abuse of suspects by lying and saying they were victims of assault themselves.
So when we had this promulgation of cameras, which I think cameras protect good cops from bad people and good people from bad cops, but we did have and still have officers that will yell, stop resisting, simply for the camera, simply. And obviously when someone's done something wrong, they're gonna search for a reason to cover it and protect it. But I think far more often in America, we are allowing people to get away with being violent, with being assaultive, with doing the things that they should get touched up for, because people are concerned about this knee-jerk, what we saw here. We didn't see all the interviews, but this knee-jerk, cops are bad, bad guys good, that these people, like this one person, and I don't think anyone's going to her house. I think if you go to her house and peep in the window, you're probably going to the next house. Or if it's her, not an attractive person, but they're angry and
Are you being homophobic?
Their anger.
Are you being homophobic?
No, I'm just saying
I
the
think
person
you're being
wasn't
homophobic.
I'm just saying they weren't attractive.
Yes, I think you're being
I wasn't
homophobic.
gendering at all. But here's
I
the
know
thing.
she looked like being a Bob from the mechanic shop, but I think you're being homophobic.
Okay. Anyhow, I'm just jealous of the haircut. I wish I could grow it. But anyhow, I think that we need to stop saying always cops the bad guy, cops the bad guy. Because there are some people that bring a punch to the face on themselves.
That's true,
and we need to get back to America where those people are getting punched in the face.
Got to hold cops accountable that go too far.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, besties!
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moment.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Please help me understand this. My lights got turned off, so I called my baby's father and asked him if he could get my lights turned on for me. He said no, because I have a husband and that's his responsibility. How is that his responsibility to pay my lights to get turned back on after they get turned off? That you have kids that stay here. You don't care about your kids? I understand that I have a husband, granted, don't beat me up over it, but we fell on hard times. So as my baby's father, I feel like you're supposed to pick up the slack. So you rather for your kids be in the dark than to help your baby mother get her lights turned back on? What if I didn't have a husband? Would you have helped me then? These men is crazy. Sir, help me get my lights turned on. Don't.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, that was a pretty wild video, man, of what we just watched and what we just witnessed. Apparently a woman who is divorced from her ex-husband, her children's father, she's remarried now, has fallen on financial hard times, and her lights were turned off. So she reached out to the ex-husband, who's the father of those children, and say, listen, my lights are turned off. Can you help me get them turned back on? Because we're in the dark. And he said, no, because you have a new husband. That is his responsibility. He's absolutely right. That is the responsibility of your new husband. Yes, it is. But to the ex-husband, who's the father of those children, it's also your responsibility to make sure your children are in a safe, healthy, clean living environment that's productive for their proper development. So what he should have done is say, I'll come by and pick up my children and let them live with me and stay with me until you're able to get your lights turned back on. But if it was one of my ex-wives, Charles, and I have a couple of them, I have to be honest, if one of my ex-wives who's remarried, and they are, had called me and said, look, the lights are turned off. Can you help me get the lights turned back on? Even though she's remarried, I would have did it. And the reason why I would have done it is because my children are there. You understand? And so as a father who loves his children more than I love myself, I'm gonna look out for my children. And I'm gonna tell her, hey, look, you and your man need to get it together and get my money back to me. But what I don't also like was why the new husband didn't tell his wife, don't you dare do nothing like that. If I got to go on the corner and beg for the money, I'll beg for it. Or why did the new husband say, let me call your ex-husband, explain the situation to him and say, hey man, can you loan us the money and I'll get it right back to you as soon as we get it. But I don't want the children and us to be in the dark right now, but I'm gonna get it right back to you, brother. Be a man and call the ex-husband yourself. Don't put your new wife up to call her ex-husband to get some money that you don't have, the lights are turned off. But that woman is crazy as hell, because it's not his responsibility to take care of you and your new man. It's not your ex-husband's responsibility to make sure you and your new man got lights. Now, what if, Charles, the ex-husband said to her the next week, well, look here, baby, I've fallen on some lonely times. And just like you said, you fell on hard financial times. Well, I've got some lonely times over here, and I need something over here. You need to come over here and fall. That's hard on for you, honey. So come on over here and fall on something hard, like I stood up with my pocket for you when you had financial hard times. Well, I'm lonely and hard over here. Why don't you come fall on this over here for me so I can feel better? See, she wouldn't like that. She would feel that's wrong. First thing she would say, what? I got a husband. Hell yeah, you got one. But it was okay to say I still got a husband, but give me some money, we'll get my lights turned back on. But if the roles were reversed, what would her response be? And what would the new husband's response be if the ex-husband said to him, well, look at homie, your wife called me when your lights was turned off, so she got to come over here and put some work in also. Make some dinner, make these beds, come rub my back in the shower and all that there. Well, what you mean that's your wife? Well, it wasn't your wife when you had her calling me for some money.
Well, I made many points there, Quadell. Initially, I don't see the husband-wife or even the ex-wife situation. I don't think it can be reduced to prostitution. I don't think this woman should owe someone sexual favors because she needed some money. I think the very suggestion is misogynist and ludicrous, and I disagree. But I know you disagree with that take, but let's go back.
A fair exchange ain't no robbery.
I didn't call it robbery.
A fair exchange ain't no robbery.
I didn't call it robbery. I called it prostitution.
How's it prostitution?
Well, because you're expecting an exchange of sex in return for money.
Wait. So what is she expecting if he give her his money?
Well,
get the lights turned back on.
Hold on.
And so if I give you my money to turn your lights back on, come back over here at my house and help turn the lights off.
Okay, I get it, right? But I don't
Teddy
agree
Pendergrass,
with
you ever heard it? Turn off the lights.
There are some questions, right? So I would agree with you that it wouldn't be the man's responsibility, but one thing that wasn't addressed is whether or not this man was paying child support, right? And if this man isn't paying child support, then he absolutely needs to give her the money.
But what if he is?
That's a hard stop. Well, hold on. But that's all. It was not addressed. But if he, like so many men today that have had children and abandoned their responsibilities and went off into the world to live their lives and aren't taking care of business, well, if he's one of those guys, and there's a whole bunch of them, then he absolutely should have just given her the money without any question.
But she didn't make that allegation in that video.
I get it.
And if he was those kind of men, she'd have said something.
I get it. We don't know. But let's assume that he's paying his child support dutifully, and he is involved and active in his kids' lives, and like she said, they're on hard times, then I would have said, hey, I'm going to come pick up the kids. Let me know if, once you get your lights back on, I'll bring the kids back. I don't want to interfere with the custody order because that can be a crime in some situations. But let me. And if the mother refused, I'd have picked up and called CPS. I'd have called Child Protective Services right away and said, my children are in a home without electricity because they're not taking care of their business. Because you're not going to convince me that They didn't prioritize other things other than the light bill. You're not going to convince me that people,
but it could be really hard times. It could be really hard times.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a question.
It happened.
So if the ex-husband had told her, say, look, I realize you got a new husband, and I realize your lights are turned off. My child support is paid up. I can come and pick the kids up and get them back to you when the lights are turned back on. But if you expect me to go well beyond the call of duty now and give you some money to cut your lights back on, and you got a husband, well, then I expect something from you too.
I think that's ridiculous.
No, wait a minute.
You shouldn't be like, you got to come break up.
No, wait a minute. So now if the ex-wife can get his money for free, and he's paying child support, so he can't tell the ex-wife, if I'm going to give you this money, you got two choices. You can sit on it or spit on it. But the bottom line is, I'll be damned you get my money for free with your new husband, so y'all can lay up in cool air and watch Netflix out of my pocket, but then tell me I ain't got a right to ask your new wife to come on over here and make a daily deposit.
I don't think that we need to.
Well, then don't ask that man for his money.
Well, but there are other ways. You can say, hey, your husband can come over here and cut my lawn. You could do this, you could do that. And yes, there could be the fact that they
Wait a minute, though.
But the most
I agree with you.
Most people
she can go over there and cut the lawn. Edge it up, too. Cut the weeds.
Okay.
Trim the bushes.
I think we're talking about different things.
What do you mean? Fertilize the lawn.
Okay. Again, I imagine.
Well, then leave your ex-husband alone then. Okay. Quit begging that man for his money.
Okay. But your children, you said you would pay the money.
I would.
Would you make your ex-wife come over there and service you?
No, I wouldn't, because I believe in forward forever, backward never. And look here, once I'd have moved on, baby, it's a wrap. But look, man, I got to be honest with you. For her attitude is the problem. That's what I have a problem with. Her attitude in that video is the problem. She had a very ungrateful attitude, a very indifferent spirit. Like that man, the ex-husband, owes her something when you got a whole new husband in the house with you.
I will say it was also very clear that she wasn't missing any meals, right?
No, she wasn't.
There wasn't no, I'm struggling, because I remember as a kid, having, we didn't have money, having an empty, primarily empty pantry, but it would be the stuff that I needed would be there, and that my mom would go without, right? Like,
have you ever heard of Uncle Earl?
Yeah, I have not.
You should YouTube Uncle Earl.
Okay.
Because he gives very sound, intelligent advice, Uncle Earl. And he could have gave that young woman and the ex-husband and the new husband some sound advice how to handle the situation.
How would Uncle Earl suggest that be resolved?
He's got two favorite colors, green and gold. Gold for the honey and green for the money.
Okay, see, is Uncle Earl another one of your favorite pimps?
No, Uncle Earl's a very highly intelligent elder in our community. And the bottom line is,
I think they're intelligent pimps.
Two favorite colors. Gold for the honey, green for the money. You want my money? Come on with and I'm talking black, and I ain't talking black tie honey.
This is what shocks me about you, Quanell. Like sometimes,
well then, ask your husband for the money and leave your ex-husband alone. Okay. Now, here you figure this man owe you something.
Sometimes it takes, because sometimes we get very religious Quanell, right? Who is very religious and very proper and believes in it. And sometimes we get Quanell, women should be paying for things with sex, Quanell.
No,
how do you reconcile those two?
I'm giving
Are you like Jekyll and Hyde?
No,
and is this Jekyll or is this Hyde?
No, I'm giving you the attitude that an ungrateful woman like that deserves. I'm giving you the disposition and the psychological approach that an ungrateful woman like that deserves. That woman spoke like he owed her something.
Maybe he walked out on her like
I can see why he walked out on her. She's crazy, and she lets you weigh by 450.
I don't think that's fair. We don't know the whole story.
She's crazy, ungrateful, and she look like the Goodyear tire man.
With the mother of their children, you wouldn't have this damn issue.
You
more people need to stay married.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in, because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love your mind.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighborhoods
the hell up.
You interrupt me all the
speak to my
time.
people.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul. That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love your mind.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And
Shut
neighborhoods
the hell up. You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School, college first-round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Tonight on The Factor Uncensored, two tragedies that could have been avoided. Both victims were dancing moments before their deaths. We're talking about it tonight on The Factor. Meantime, we're doing some digging on what's happening with Houston bayous, which have been used as a dumping ground for bodies.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
Thank you and welcome to The Factor Uncensored for joining us tonight. First up, two death investigations underway. The first in Atlanta. According to USAcrime.com, a woman named Maya died during a night out with friends. Now, officials report it is not available just yet, but the website says a victim was twerking in front of a vehicle her friends were inside of. Someone behind